All right, so welcome again. This is be about half hour, 40 minutes or so. It's a balance challenge kickoff. So in the new year, it seems to be human nature that all of us think, oh, I want to do something different and maybe I want to improve something or change something. And I wanted to focus on balance because I think in fitness sometimes people think about weight loss or they think about healthy eating, and there's nothing wrong with those things. Those are great. But I think maybe not enough people think about balance, especially anyone that's over 60 should be knowing what their balance is like and how to improve it. So the Vintage Fitness take on a January challenge is a balance challenge. This is a client who works virtually with one of our trainers, Tulio, that's in this picture. I think he's 83 now. He started with us when he was 80 years old, and he really wanted to be able to ride his bike. And it was a balance challenge again for us because it takes a lot to balance on your bike. And he's doing amazing. Kind of neat that he can work virtually from his home in Guelph. And at 83, his balance is better than it was at 81. So I'm really happy for him, and just proves to me the fact that balance can improve. There's, if you train it. All right, as always, it's fairly casual. If you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or go in the chat and ask questions there. I'm on the call. My name's Erin. I'm the owner of Vintage Fitness. And we also have Dee. You want to give a wave there, Dee, who's one of our trainers and is a balance expert. So she is here, and if you have questions specifically for Dee, you'd be happy to help, I'm sure. So I think I recognize a lot of you. If this is your first time exposed to Vintage Fitness, we only work with older adults. Most of our clients are between 65. I think our oldest is 98 right now. I think that's right, 98. Clients do achieve their health goals with us, but it's slow and steady. And we work on functional strength. We work on stability. We work on brain health. Those are the kind of specialties that we tend to have. There's a team of 20 of us, and we work across the greater Toronto area in person and virtually. So we go as far as Hamilton. We go up to Aurora. We go across to Scarborough. So pretty much the GTA we cover. So this balance challenge is for you. If you want to improve your balance, but you're not quite sure how, you need the motivation to do the exercises, which is always a bit challenging, and why this kind of kickoff is good. You'd like to learn more about balance training. It's a bit of specialization, and you want to prove to yourself that your balance can improve. So I think sometimes people just get a bit like, oh, I have poor balance, kind of like I have brown eyes, but it can actually improve. It's not forever to be poor balance. It can get better, and hopefully we hear some stories of people on the call where they have worked their balance and it has improved. Okay, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit, but the question I wanted to get into is, do I really need to balance train? I can understand that there's a lot that hits you from the media, how to age well, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to take my vitamin D, I have to get my eyes checked, and blah, blah, blah. It gets a little bit much after a while, and I can understand that. Please don't skimp out on balance training or your daily walk if I was going to give you advice on aging well. So 33% of Canadians over 65 will fall this year. Majority of these falls could be prevented, which includes improving balance. There's other components to balance as well, but we're just going to talk about the physical one right now, as opposed to inner ear conditions and things that can affect balance, stroke, those kind of things. We're not going to get into it too much. We're going to focus more on the muscle strengthening side of balance training. Poor balance, we find, often leads to a lack of confidence in what your body can do, and seniors start to do less. So you end up in this negative spiral of, poor balance, worried about falling, doing less, sitting more, getting weaker. Then all of a sudden it becomes a challenge to get up. Then you have mobility aids, and life just gets more complicated, and it does get a little harder to do all the activities that you love. So training your balance will often help to just improve the confidence. Okay, my body can do this. I can do this. Poor balance also affects gait quite a bit, how people walk. So how fast they can walk and their posture while they're walking. So if someone has poor balance and they're afraid of falling, you end up with the slouch and you end up with the shuffle. And both of those things put you at higher risk for falling. So you're here. So obviously you want to improve your balance, but I just wanted to kind of reiterate some of the points and the importance, the extreme importance of training your balance. Balance is needed for most activities. Walking, when you walk, you're on one foot for a part of that gait. You don't think about it, but you're actually balancing on one foot when you walk. Gardening, you definitely need balance when you garden. Any travel, you're on the moving sidewalks, you're on uneven surfaces in a lot of different countries, playing with grandkids. You kind of need balance for most things. So it's super important. But you already knew that because you're here. All right, we got tons of people coming in late. So welcome. Hi, Tony. Nice to see you. Good to see you guys. Okay, so how this balance challenge works, and it's really up to you. You can do like all of it. You can just do a little bit. You can listen to this and not do anything else. It's absolutely up to you. It's completely free, and it's just something that we wanted to do to emphasize balance at this time of year. So we are going to do a baseline balance assessment today. I did send a form out in a link, but it doesn't matter if you didn't get the form or you couldn't print it off or whatever the case. As long as you have a notebook, you can just write it down on a notebook. Just remember what notebook you wrote it in so you can compare it the next time. So if you have a print off, great. If you don't worry about it. And we're going to do 4 weeks of balance training. So ideally, you would do this balance exercise twice a day. It's not going to be too arduous. I'll show you the first one at the end. So you're going to get the first balance exercise today on January 16th. You get the second balance exercise the next week, etc., through till February 5th. So you're going to get 4 different balance exercises, and you're going to do them twice a day. They won't take long. You don't need any equipment. And I can talk you through. You can email if you have questions as you receive the exercises if you're not sure how to do them. You can also participate, or you can send people to our social media platforms. All of the videos and stuff will be up on there, and you can always ask questions on there if you happen to be someone that is on social media. It's Instagram and Facebook that all of this stuff will be on. I'm also going to invite you to test your balance again the week of February 12th, which is similar to this. I'll send out an email with a link if you want to join us and do a reassessment of your balance together. You're welcome to do that. Any questions on how the balance challenge works? Either unmute yourself or jot it into the chats. No, clear. I don't see anything coming up in the chat. Okay. All right, good. So for the balance assessment, if you want to join us, and as I said earlier, you're going to get this recording later today. So you're welcome to do your own assessments later today or tomorrow if today is not a good balance day for you or whatever the case. But if you are joining us for the assessment, make sure you're near a wall or a stable chair so that if you do lose your balance, you have something to hold on to. If you are working with a vintage fitness trainer, have your trainer do the assessment with you because they can write down both the number, and then they also will write down quite a few of their observations. So if you're working with a vintage fitness trainer, do have them do the assessment with you. Doesn't mean you can't do it now as well. And then write down your results, or better yet, if you're doing it with someone, you could have someone videotape you just for your own viewing. You can watch the videotape and you get videotaped again in your last one and just notice, do I look any more stable? So that could be another fun thing to do. Okay, so the first one is called timed get up and go. You are sitting on your chair, you think, you don't have to measure out, but just something that is about 3 meters or 10 feet away. Put something on that spot or earmark it. Like, I know that plant is around that, a distance. So, I'm going to go to that spot and I'm going to come back. What you're going to do is stand up from the chair, and I'm going to show a video on this in a minute. If you use a walking aid, use a walking aid. Walk to that water bottle or spot at your normal pace, turn around, walk back to the chair at your normal pace and sit down. And when we do this together, I'm going to set a timer on the screen. So when you sit back down, just note, oh, that's the time. That's as long as it took me. And you're going to write that time. You're going to do this 2 times through. So in your notebook, just make sure you write down. If you don't have the assessment sheet that I sent through, just write test 1. I call it time, get up and go. First time, second time, and you're going to write the number of seconds that it took. So I'm going to stop share and reshare so that I can share my sound. I realize I forgot to click that share sound button. Okay, before we do this, is there any questions? Clear as mud. Okay, so everyone's ready. This is awesome. Before we get going, I'm going to show this. So the video you're going to see is a video of one of our trainers who's a registered kinesiologist, John. He's going to do with Jennifer here that first get up and go assessment, just so you can see what that looks like. And then we're going to do it all together. So it's the whole assessment is here, but let me see.
Consider that. How do you stand up are the things I'm going to be looking at.
That's a bit
How
mumbly.
you move, how you walk. So it's a great overall indicator of, again, mobility. So I'm going to have you, again, any questions?
Am I going around the chair?
Yes. Get my time. Overall
I'm sorry, I just want to get to the crux of it.
And sit down, okay.
This is Jennifer. The chair is
I think so.
Okay.
10 feet apart.
Let me get my timer out. Pardon me.
Sorry, he's wearing a mask. His voice is a bit muffly. This is a while ago.
And on the count of 3, 2, 1, and go.
So she's just up. She goes around the chair, the object, whatever it is. And she sits down.
So you did that.
And that's it. And he's timing it. Yeah, does that make sense? So the reason we go around the chair is in life, we have to go around obstacles sometimes, and it's kind of part of balance. So what I'm going to do now is put a timer on, and I'm going to say start. I'll start the timer. You're going to get up, go around the object, come back, and you're just going to note what number the timer says. Can I get a couple of thumbs up so people... Like can I have a few people give me a yes? Okay, Elaine, thank you. They good. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not confusing everybody to the maximum. Okay, and hold on, ready and go. Yep, go ahead, Mary Jane. Good. And just note what time it is when you sit back down. Note what time it is when you sit back down. I'll keep the timer going for everybody. I'm going to keep it going for another couple of seconds. I see a few people going. I'm going to keep it going till 30 seconds just in case. Hi, Tony. Okay, and good. Everyone got that number? If not, we're going to do it one more time. So that's no problem. Sometimes the first time is just figuring out the test. Hi, Andrew. All right, so let me rewind this timer. We're going to do the exact same thing, just a second time. Okay, so getting ready and go. We're up and walking, nicely done. Good stuff around. And note the time. Good. Nice. I'll keep it going till 30 seconds just in case. Yes, we got a lot of people without cameras on. And there we go. Okay, nicely done. So you're going to do that test again. It is a good test for balance and a little bit of agility. You're looking for kind of 11 or 12 seconds or under for that test is the mark that you want to try to be hitting. If you don't, that's okay. It's just somewhere to progress to, but that's kind of a one goal to be working towards. So that's test number 1. So you should have either on the assessment form that I handed out 2 things written down or in your notebook for time to get up and go test. my number of seconds it took me for my first attempt, and the number of seconds it took me for the second attempt. And just make sure that somewhere on the page you're writing today's date. So this is the 16th of January. So you know when you assessed it. So when we come back in a month's time, you'll know which is which. Okay, good stuff. And there's 3 tests. The next one is picking an object off the floor. So, you know, step 1 in this really is this assessment for me? You know, am I able to do this assessment? If you're unstable when standing on both feet, I would omit this one. It might be too challenging of an assessment. Or if you have quite a bit of dizziness, you're feeling dizzy, then again, I think that this probably isn't the best test for you right now. If none of those conditions apply to you, what you're going to do, and I'm going to show a video of picking up an object off the floor, is you're going to do it, and I'll leave this rating scale on the screen, and you're just going to rate. Was it number 1, very easy, no problem at all? 2, easy, I do it several times a day. 3, medium, not easy, but I can do it when I need to. 4, difficult, I only pick things up if I have to. 5, very difficult, I wait until someone else can pick things up for me. I'm going to let you decide what you're picking up and just make a note what that is so you can do the same thing. If this test feels a little scary for you, I would pick up something easier, like a water bottle where it's already standing and it's elevated. If you feel quite good about your balance and you want something a bit more challenging, I would pick up a pen because that's harder to pick up. So let me show you the pick up off the floor assessment that Dawn does, and then we'll do it ourselves so you can decide what you want to pick up. I'm going to get to the spot because this is the full assessment that is on here. So let me just get to the right spot. 42.
Not to just get a good case on it. I would love for you to, as comfortably as you can, pick up your phone for me. Pick up this object from the ground.
She's picking up her phone.
Not too bad. Okay, great. You did that with ease. That's awesome.
All right. So that for Jennifer was quite easy. You kind of can pick up whatever way you want, but of course, normally when you're picking up, you want to make sure that you are bending in the knees, that you're not putting, especially if it's something heavier. But in this case, you know, pick up as is comfortable for you. So what I want you to do now is take whatever object you've chosen, drop it onto the floor again if you think the test is applicable for you, and pick up the test, honestly. Pick up the object and then assess yourself on the screen here. So whenever you're ready, go ahead, grab your pen, drop it down, and pick it up, or your water bottle. Nicely done. I see some picker-uppers. Tony, you're sitting with your arms crossed, not into the assessment today. Your balance is too good. Love it. Okay. So once you've picked up your object, you're going to rate that exercise between 1 and 5 for you for today in your notebook or on the assessment form. Also, just put in brackets what you picked up so you can pick up the same thing in 4 weeks. And drop me a note if you find that it's way too easy and you want me to make some of these tests harder for you. I can do that by getting your feet closer together. We can make this harder or easier if you're finding that it's very easy and you don't feel like it's a real assessment for you. So just do let me know that, or you can even mention it now. All right, so the third test, you're going to do standing. So this is where making sure that you have something stable beside you is important. I will show a video of this again. It is increasing levels of balance challenge. So we're going to start with your feet side by side. 10 seconds is the measure. We'll do it for about 10 seconds. then if and only if that level of challenge feels okay for you, you're not swaying or really off balance, you're going to go to the second one, which is your feet side by side, eyes closed for 10 seconds. You will get some trees blowing in the wind on that one for sure. And then the third one is placing the instep of one foot. So it's touching the big toe of the other. So it's not completely a tandem stance. You can see the heel is kind of cross-sectioning out the middle. And then the last one, and again, I don't know, you may or may not want to do this one, is tandem stance. So the foot right in front of the other. So I'm going to show you that on our John doing that one, just to make it a little clearer. And then we're going to do it together. I call this one foot positions. So let me get to the right spot. 5103. This is our full assessment that we do with new clients that he's doing.
Your balance is quite good from what I've seen so far.
He's saying your balance is pretty good.
And keep the chair close by, just in case you need it.
Okay.
And I'll have you face that way for me. You can put the chair just to your side here. If we need it. Now, once again, this is going to be timed. And we're going to start with your feet together. Feet and legs together. You're going to go hands onto your shoulders. Keeping the eyes open. Okay.
So he'll do 30 seconds.
So
I'll put the
that was
timer on for
pretty good.
30
I'm gonna
seconds
stop
as well.
it early. We're going to move on to the next one. Just because I'm confident from everything that I've seen today that we can go a little bit more further down the chain. Alrighty? Let's start with a slight modification. Keeping 2 feet on the ground, we're just going to have feet once again together, but we're going to have 1 foot just in the middle of the other there.
Gotcha.
So a little more challenging, right?
Okay.
And what I'd like for you to do, same idea, yep, you got it. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. And some of the things that I'm looking for is how often do you have to catch yourself, if you have to tap. So after the second tap of you having to catch yourself is where I'll stop the time unless we get to 30 seconds. Alright, so that's great.
So he's saying he's just, when she taps out, that's when the test would end, when she kind of steps out of the semi-tandem stance.
You're doing great now. Just make sure you didn't put any Baileys in your coffee this morning. I want to make sure that you can bring your heel to your toe, right in front there.
So this is full tandem. This is tough.
The chair is there for you, and time has started. Try to focus your gaze on something just so you stay a little more concentrated. You're doing great, but you can tell it's a little more challenging, so awesome job here.
Okay, so there was a question, are these tests from the Berg Balance scale? Some of them are for sure. So we have John, who's in this video, developed our assessment for Vintage Fitness, and it's pulling from assessments from all over the place. So the balance component would have some Berg Balance test stuff. It has a few other things as well. But yes, Berg Balance test is part of that. All right, so let's go to the test again. We are going to do it slightly different than John did it. We're going to do standing with feet side by side for 10 seconds. I'm going to keep the timer on for 30 seconds. And whenever you step out, have to, maybe you hold on to your chair, you're going to note what that time is on the screen, just like we did for time, get up and go. In our progression, we're going to do feet side by side, feet by side by side with the eyes closed. And the reason I wanted to do eyes closed is that a lot of us are really dependent on our visual balance. So we have somatosensory balance, knowing where you are in space. And then you have visual balance. And when people are too dependent on the visual balance and they don't train somatosensory balance, when for some reason the visual gets cut out for them, like their vision decreases, or they're walking down the stairs holding a laundry bin so they actually can't see, that's when falls happen. So I think that's why I wanted to do an eyes closed one. They are challenging. So really make sure you're safe. Make sure you have something close to you that you can hold. The next one is one that you saw John and Jennifer do, where the instep of the foot is halfway up. It's lined up with the big toe of the other foot, and then a tandem stance. So if you have a notebook and not your assessment sheet, I'll give you a minute to write down. I just call this foot placement test on our assessment sheet. And you're going to do 4 different tests. So if you want to write down foot position, number 1, feet together. Number 2, feet together, eyes closed. Number 3, I guess I call this half tandem stance is number 3. And then number 4 is the full tandem stance. And if you didn't get the assessment sheet and you want it, just send me a note. I did send it, I think, yesterday. But if you didn't get it, do let me know. All right. Are we good? Is everyone feeling good? So what I'm going to do now that I've hopefully gone through those tests with you, I'm going to put the clock on again. And I'll do 30 seconds for each of the 4 tests. When you have to go out of the test, you grab hold of your chair. That's when you write that number down. Okay. All right. So let me just get to 0 here. Okay. Let's all stand up, feet right close together. Your feet are you're not hip width. You're right close together. Standing up nice and tall, making sure you have a chair, but not holding on to it. If you need to hold on to it, that's fine. Just make a note of that. Ready, standing, and go. Oops. Oh, I lost my foot. There we go. There we go. Good, looking solid. So again, I can't see a lot of your feet, but they should be right side by side. Great to see some strong balance here. Amazing. If you're feeling unbalanced, looking at something that isn't moving, in yoga, they call that your drishti is helpful, and bracing your core is also helpful to improve balance. And stop. So if you did have to get out of that test, just make sure you write down when you did that. And if you got through the 30 seconds and that felt easy, that's great, because we're going to go to test 2. So test 2 is going to be the same thing, feet right beside each other, standing tall, chair close, with eyes closed. Deep breath in and go. Doing well. Really impressed that you guys are all here thinking about balance, challenging your balance. Again, making a note when you have to hold on to your chair and stop. Nicely done. Really good. Okay, so I'll give you a second to jot that number down. If you did go to 30 seconds, just write 30 seconds. Which is good. Maybe I'll do it a little longer when we do the next time. Maybe I'll do it for 45 just to see. Anything over 30 on these ones is good. Okay, going into the third, which is half tandem stance. Your one foot is front, the other foot is beside and lining up with the big toe of the first foot. Okay, nicely done. Looks like people that I can see are in position. Deep breath in and go. Nice. Can't see most of you, but just make a note if you find you're swaying a little bit with this one. Really good. Yeah. Okay. So that was a touchdown. Yeah. Good. 24. And stop. Good stuff. So our very last one is a full tandem stance. So one foot is, the heel is touching the toe. This is a challenging one, as you saw from the other test. And this is our last our last one. Okay. Hold on, doesn't look like we're all ready. I'm going to wait for a few people that are jotting things down there. Give you a few seconds. Okay, looks like we're set. So again, tandem stance, one foot right in front of the other, and go. Good compensation. I see people shifting a little bit around the ankle. This will strengthen the ankles a little bit. Brace the core, look at something not moving. Last couple of seconds on this one. Good stuff. All right. Welcome, Steve. You just joined us. We've just finished that last assessment. Oh, wow. Good job. Good job. I just see Marianne, last eyes closed for the last 3. Yeah, the test would just be the eyes closed for the second one. All right, really good job with those guys. Again, make sure you kind of know where your notebook is, because we are going to do this again in the middle of February after, I mean, ideally you would do all of the balance exercises. So as I mentioned at the beginning, how this balance challenge work is we start with this kickoff, we do the assessment, you get a new balance exercise every week, and you do that exercise twice a day. I'm going to show you a sneak peek of the first balance exercise. I'm also going to send it to you by email later this afternoon. At the end of our 4 weeks, I'm going to put another Zoom link together so we can reassess the balance and say, do I feel more confident? Has it gotten any better after doing the balance exercises twice a day for 4 weeks? So this, you can do it with her if you like, but I just wanted to show it to you. Again, you're going to see this later today in case you had questions about the exercise. Is it better to do these exercises and the challenges with bare feet? So Elaine, I would say it depends on how good your balance is. If balance is a real challenge for you, I would say do it with sturdy shoes. If you find these exercises really easy and you think, I'm not really assessing my balance because I just can do all of them, without any issue at all, then you can do it with bare feet. That makes it quite a bit more challenging. Any unstable surface also makes it more challenging. So it depends on where you're sitting. I would just pay attention to, if you choose to do it bare feet, assess the first time and the last time with bare feet, but it's tougher with bare feet. Not worse or better, really. It's a harder balance challenge. So this is the sneak peek of the first balance exercise, and this is one I want you to do twice a day, every day for the next week.
Hi guys, my name is Christy with Vintage Fitness, and I'm here to show you some balance exercises. One of my favorite ones is called weight shifts, because it resembles what you would do if you would actually fall. You would be shifting your weight and trying to catch yourself and reshift it back to neutral position to ground yourself. So an example of that would be, now if you stand wider, it'll be easier. If you stand more narrow, it'll be harder. But just shifting your weight from left to right foot, so you're not actually lifting the feet up, but you're just shifting it. And you can even just shift and lift like this as well, or you can shift and lift one foot up, and then you can shift and lift the other foot up. And then that would be side to side, and then forward and back would be shifting from toes to heels. Okay, toes to heels. And if you wanted to make it a little bit more challenging, you could go more narrow, toes to heels, or you could also stand on one foot and shift your weight from toe to heel. Okay, so I'm not actually lifting my toe or heel up, doing a calf raise, but I'm just shifting from front to back. So I hope you liked my video. Try it out at home, and if you want more, check us out at Vintage Fitness. Thank you.
Hi there. Okay, so I just want to go through that exercise. A few people are saying they're having a hard time hearing. That's Christy. She's a trainer in Etobicoke. It's essentially, and I'll give you the link so you'll be able to, on YouTube, you'll be able to turn that volume up a bit more. It's a weight shift. So you start standing up nice and tall, and you're just going to shift your weight from side to side. If your balance is quite good, you can lift a foot as well when you do that weight shift. And then you do forward and back. So weight at the toes, weight at the heels. That's the exercise. So you might want to do that, say 15 shifts side to side and forward and back twice a day. That kind of frequency. All right. So we've done the assessment. Hopefully you have that written down. You're going to get the email of the balance shift exercise later today. Are there any questions that I can address? Clear as mud? Okay, good. Listen, it was great to see you guys. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I will be sending you an email once a week for the next 4 weeks. Take the time to do the exercises. The balance shift is a good one. It will make a difference. And let's reassess. We'll reconvene in 4 weeks, and we'll see if balance has improved. So oh, go ahead.
Erin, may I say something?
Of course.
Lovely. I just wanted to mention that what Erin didn't mention in her introduction was that her oldest trainer is myself, who just turned 81. And balance is so incredibly, incredibly important. It definitely declines, but equally definitely you can get it back. She did say that, but it really, really is true. I noticed if I stop doing balance exercises for even a month and I go back and I'm not able to do them as well. So I can't stress enough that you definitely can certainly guard your balance at the same level or even increase it by doing these exercises. I truly, truly believe this in personal growing less young.
Amazing. Thank you, Dee. And it means so much more coming from you that is amazingly fit and 80. So I really appreciate that.